Excellent. So thank you very much, Naeem, for inviting me to this. Thank you for everyone who's spoken so far. I've been following all day. It's been excellent. I can just see Janelle's here. I'll try and put that down. Okay, good. Yeah, so I'm Jonathan Daniels, and I'm going to speak to you today about two customer-centric pyramids. One to do with customer-centric knowledge, which is on the left-hand side. The other to do with customer-centric organizational structure. Before I begin, I'll just talk a bit about Customer Experience Brussels. This is an organization which I founded last year. The aim is to learn, share, and advance in regards to customer experience in Belgium. So this is for customer experience professionals, but we're actually moving a bit past Belgium, and we've got people who join us from all over Europe now: Belarus, Romania, Germany, France, Spain, and the UK. Also to mention, so I co-authored the book with quite a few people that are on this this webinar, and also I've got a book coming out next month, and it covers two themes. One is leading customer experience transformations, and the second is implementing customer experience governance. So yeah, I'm originally from the UK, from Birmingham, and I moved over to Belgium 3 years ago. And so I've been here ever since, and I'm loving it here, to be honest. So let's move on. So I want to talk today, firstly, about customer-centric knowledge. And I want to start off by sharing a film which I like, called What Women Want. Now, this is a great film. If you haven't seen it, it's a romantic comedy, Mel Gibson and Helen Hunt. And the reason why I want to share this is because you can learn a lot about building customer knowledge. So Mel Gibson in the film, he is a senior manager or director in a company that sells women's cosmetics. And if we look at some of the things that he does to understand his target market, which is women, you can learn a lot from him. So I just wanted to start off there. So go and see. This is Mel Gibson. He's there and he's in the gym. He's with the women. He's trying to find out what they're doing. The other thing is, try it for yourself. You can see him here. He's got some nail varnish. He's waxing his legs. Look at the angle here of his foot even. He's trying it himself. When you try it yourself, you can feel the pain points for yourself. You can really understand and get the details, you know, from a customer's perspective. When you don't try it for yourself, you just hear a story. And yeah, sometimes a story can be good if it's told in the right way. Other times there's certain people that can't tell stories and can't actually communicate to you, you know. So for me, trying it yourself is very important. And this goes for anyone, not just someone who's in marketing or in sales. This should be for everyone across an organization, up and down. The third is to interact. Here you can see our main man interacting here, trying to understand what the lady's thinking about in terms of the photo that she's looking at. So you can get a lot of information, a lot of good knowledge from interacting. So I wanted to start off there. And why did I want to talk about this? So let me put this into perspective first. We have the knowledge pyramid. This was founded by Kenneth Boulding, 1955. If you're in data, you probably know this. If you're not in data, you might have probably come across it. So you've got the pyramid from the bottom up: data, information, knowledge, and wisdom. And the reason why I want to talk about this today is because at the moment, there's a lot of focus on being data driven. You know, we hear examples like Amazon and Netflix, or Facebook or Google. We need data. And for me, I'll be honest, I feel like there's an over focus on data. Why do I say that? Because actually what's happening is companies are actually abusing our data, and there's a disregard for the person. There's a disregard for the experience of that person. So what we have is, you might have seen it on your phone, you get unwanted notifications from certain companies. You get irrelevant adverts being sent to you, adverts that you don't want. Maybe you don't even want any adverts at all, you know? So that's the second point. And third one, don't look at me as crazy, but I'm gonna have to say it: mind control. Yeah, Look at the Cambridge Analytica scandal and what happened there. I won't go into detail, but it's a fact. People are abusing our data. So this data-driven approach is something totally opposite to what I describe as customer centricity. And that's something that I'm very passionate about. If you think I'm just talking and I'm just saying something that I believe in, I'll give you an example. You look 2018, near the end of 2018, developers at Google turned down one of the projects, actually decided to stop working on the projects because they said it was too unethical. People were they were going to be using data in a very unethical way, you know? So for me, this is getting too much. It's getting out of hand. And I feel that us as customer experience professionals, we can make a difference, you know? So I will add a bit of information here. So you might have been looking at that pyramid thinking, okay, it's quite conceptual. So Milan Zeleny is from Czechoslovakia. In 1987, by the way, he was a great educator. That's him in the picture. He added just 4 different points to this. So data, know nothing. Information, you know what in general. Knowledge, know how. And wisdom, know why. So you might be thinking, okay, what does this really mean? So what I'll do is I'll take these points and I'll add a focus on customer centricity to this. So you can understand how we can apply this in this data over focused world that we live in. So what I've done next to these, I've tried to give a bit of information. So for instance, let's start from the top. Know why and know how. So know why are about the beliefs, values, and aspirations of your customer, yeah, or your target market, or the people who you are targeting, because they're people, you know. We describe them as customers, but really they're people, you know, just like you and me. Know how. So these are the adjectives to describe the customer experience, and what you can do here, these form the basis of your customer experience strategy. Yeah. Now, how can we link this with data? It's really simple. Know what and know nothing. These can be the basis of your data strategy. The know what is the actual need, the behaviors, the actions. How are they using your website? How are they interacting over mobile? What is annoying them and causing them to stop carrying on out transactions, you know? These are the actions. Know nothing is just the data. So obviously we need a layer of technology and data to drive what we're doing. So there you can really mix up these two, customer experience and customer data strategy. And really they need to be aligned, you know? So question for people in the audience, because you thought you could just sit down and just listen. Which is the better statement for a customer-centric organization? So question, the answer, number 1, your customer strategy should align with your data strategy, or B, your data strategy should support your customer strategy. Maybe you can put your answers in the comments, or we can do a poll. I don't know how to really see the answers, so maybe we'll get the answers near the end. So I'll continue. Yeah.
In the chat window, I think a lot of people are putting the answers in the chat window.
Oh, okay, let's have a look at that. Let's have a look. Chat window. Ooh, B, 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 B. Someone wrote B a few times. I'd like to. And we've got 1A. Okay, we've got 1A there. Okay, yeah. So I might as well just say, for me, it's a B. For me, it's a B. Your data strategy should support your customer strategy. For the reasons that I've mentioned, you know, I mean, let's face it, data at the end of the day is an enabler, you know, it's something transactional, you know, and at the end of the day, when you have a customer centric strategy, you know that whatever you're doing in your organization is focused on driving value and solving problems for your customer. If you're focusing on that, then the problems that we have with abuse of data, with, you know, overselling, with a disregard for the feelings of our customer, those, they don't totally vanish, but they are managed, managed more appropriately. So let's move on. Okay. So what does a customer-centric data strategy look like? Okay, number one on here, prioritize my need before profit. As I mentioned too many times, you get notifications from organizations and you're getting too many, they're texting you, you're getting emails every day. They know that if they were in your position, they wouldn't like it, but they do it anyway. So there you can see people prioritizing their needs before the customers. Actually, don't forget, in the world that we live in, with things like GDPR, things like open banking, you know, now it's much easier for customers to move away when they're annoyed, and believe me, more customers are doing it and more customers will continue to do it. So don't disregard the actual feelings of your customers. Second, present me with a clear payback for my data. Data is valuable. When the customer gives data, they don't expect you just to go and sell it on and, well, that's what's happening at the moment. But what you need to be doing to be customer centric is to actually present them with a payback. So give them something relevant back, actually add value to their lives. Okay. Third point, only take what you need from me. So don't go and take data that you don't actually need, that just goes without saying, but a lot of organizations do it. And fourthly, manage my data responsibly. Yeah, so that goes to IT security. We know that data is valuable. Credit card theft and fraud, this sort of thing is on a rise. Manage people's data responsibly because it is an asset, it is of value, So that was the first one on customer knowledge. The second one I want to talk about, the second pyramid, because we're in the pyramid theme today, or for this presentation, is customer-centric organizational structure. Yeah. Now, actually, James touched on this earlier on. I thought it was amazing what he said, and I'll just check to make sure we didn't say the same thing. And potentially there was some synergies, but I'd say that I've got a slight different perspective here, which is good, so we can just complement each other. So this is the traditional hierarchical organizational structure. You got the customer on the CEO on the top, executives, middle manager, and then employee. You've all seen it. You all know how it works. The corporate ladder, everyone's trying to climb it. Some might be content where they are, however you want to play it. This is what 95% of organizations look like, mainly large organizations across the world, So for me, the question is this still relevant today? Obviously it is relevant because we're in it now, but is this the way forward? For me, we need to challenge this. And why do we need to challenge it? First point, the customers have changed. Yeah, we now have millennials, Generation X, Y, Generation Z. That's just an example. Think about simple things like how people learn at the moment. Before, people go on training courses to learn how to use a piece of technology, half a day, one day. Now you've got a whole generation who just go and play with it and have a look. And if they have questions, they go on Google and check, or they go on a quick YouTube video. The actual behaviors of customers and the general makeup of customers has changed. Products and services have changed. So we're not, as James said, in managing pin factories anymore. Actually we're managing a whole load of different, sometimes small little pieces in the customer journey. So that's a very important point to point out. Technology has changed, obviously. And the other thing is, when you look inside organizations, what do you see? You see a lot of task-based roles and task-based management instead of value-based, So for me, that's something that really needs to be challenged. Also, and I will mention, you see a lot of people in organizations. I'll go around, I'll see everyone looks professionals. we're wearing suits, we're clean shaven, looking very pretty, you know? But actually, what are we doing for the customer? Yeah. Does what you're wearing make a difference to the customer? You're not even in a customer facing role and you're looking smart, da, da, da. Actually, you're sending a lot of emails when everyone is using WhatsApp now and we're getting, communicating 10 times as fast, and able to actually get up, call people very quickly, We're using things like business speak still, Oh, let me come and touch base with you. Oh, let's take this offline. Or there's a lot of moving parts in this problem, or even the worst one, let's think outside the box, which basically means, well, let's think, or, yeah, let's use our brain a bit more than we normally use it. For me, the question is, where is the customer in this? And what does all this culture that we've got going on at the moment, especially in large organizations, because that's where I do most of my business. What does all of this culture do for our customers, And for me, I'd like to turn all this upside down and I'll show you what I mean. So let's focus on customer centricity and let's focus on co-creation. So what you have here are 4 parts. I've turned it upside down. You've got leadership at the bottom. That's not saying we don't value you, we value you the least or something like that. It's just the way it is. Middle office, back office, in the middle, dealing with processes, making sure you've got the right technology, the right structure, and just operating the business. You've got the frontline employees who are dealing with the customers. Also, I've added something which I'll discuss, which is a customer experience coach. So let's have a look at this. What does this look like in real life? So what you'd have here is what we call something, it's known as participative leadership. This is probably one of the examples, democratic leadership. And what we have is leaders who are not leading as taskmasters. Actually, what they're doing is setting the direction, setting the objectives, helping mobilize and allowing employees to actually be proactive to get the love of their customers, So they're listening to what's going on. So they're listening to everyone else and they're supporting with resources, supporting in any way necessary, So that's what they're doing. You've got the middle office who, they're developing customer insights. They're spending time on that, getting all the data, actually making it, turning it into information and then into knowledge, So they are actually the ones who are improving the design, So they're looking at the customer experience, what you have at the moment, and they're saying, okay, we've got all this data here. We can see that there's a pain point here. Let's solve it. And that's what they're doing. On top of that, these guys are running the business, For instance, during this corona crisis, you see some leaders can be at home, but there's still these people in the middle office and the front office who've still got to attend, they've still got to go out, and they've still got to handle their business. Otherwise, countries can fall over, the business can fall over, and it's real problems for their customers. Finally, frontline employees. These guys are driving feedback. These guys manage the relationship with the customer. They're playing a key role. They are directly in and part of the customer experience. They're playing a key role, but the main role is to obviously manage the relationship, but to actually come back with insights and feedback, because they are the ones who are the closest there. So those are the 3 roles internally. And also we have what we call the experience coach, who can really be very strategic and very, very helpful for an organization who wants to restructure. They know what they have at the moment is not working. They have matrix, functional sort of structures, and it's very siloed. And an experienced coach can come in and firstly come and guide the organization. So they will have things like strong customer experience knowledge and experience in general, and they will facilitate the adoption of the customer experience strategy. So they can help you create a strategy and help you actually adopt that and implement that and transform your organization from where you are now to something that really focuses on the customer, where you're challenging at every level, how is this benefiting the customer? So this is a very key role. So following on from this, that brings me to the end of the presentation. I'm not sure how I'm doing on time, but there's two key points to take away. First one is that yes, the data strategy should support your customer strategy. And the second point is to re-envision your organizational structure and focus on creating customer value first. Don't be afraid to challenge what's happening at the moment, challenge the norm, because customers are becoming very, very, very responsive, very, very active. And yes, you can lose a lot of market share if you don't play it right. Okay, I'll go to the questions, Naeem.
Hey, John. Just click in the Q&A section, but I don't think anyone's got any questions at the moment.
Okay.
Can you just tell me a little bit more about CX Brussels, please? I think, if I'll be honest, I think everyone's a bit tired because I think it's been a long day. But can you tell us a little bit more about CX Brussels, please, in your next CX Brussels event?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. So CX Brussels founded that last year, sort of in June, July, and basically I noticed that there wasn't much activity in regards to customer experience over here in Belgium. So decided to start some events, basically to bring people together, bring customer experience leaders, managers, analysts, anyone who's involved and who wants to understand customer experience. The idea is to get people to really be able to share experiences together, to be able to learn together, and also to advance their careers. So those are the three sort of main aims of that. And that's been going from strength to strength. We had our first meeting last year with about 15 people. Last meeting that we had in partnership with Oracle had over 50 people from 25 countries. And we've got an action-packed year ahead. We're supposed to have a event in May actually, but that one might have to be an online event. We've got 4 events planned for the rest of this year and some webinars as well. And as I've said previously at the start of this, we started off just Brussels based, but because of all what's been going on and because we live in a small world, to be honest, especially Europe, we have people coming from Germany, from France, Spain. It's becoming a real European thing actually. And obviously yourself, Naeem, you came last time in January and blasted everyone away with a brilliant speech. So yeah, for me, it's going to be action packed, and for me, the main aim for me is just to bring people together so they can learn together. That's the main aim there. So if anyone wants to get involved with that, or you want to speak, or you just want to come over and understand and learn what we do, don't hesitate to get in touch.
Yeah, so I've definitely got to add to that, John, because obviously you invited us out, and it was very kind of you to invite us out. We definitely enjoyed the time. I'd like to say good quality of audience, some really good brands there. But also the European mentality is a little bit different to UK. Although we're right next to France, we would pop over, but certainly where you were, you had people coming in from Holland, from Germany, from Belgium, from France, from all over the place. So it was a really good event to attend. You've got 3 questions there now. Can you see the Q&A?
Yeah, okay. Let's see the first. Could you put the blue box pointing to the leadership section, please? Did I put it in the wrong place?
No, I think it's just a question. In that respect, the model,
no.
I would say yes, the answer is yes. You could change that model around so that you are looking at leadership instead of, at the moment, it's not looking at leadership, is it?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. To be honest, sometimes I get questions and it takes a long time for me to process them, But Naeem, if you've answered that one already, that's fine.
Definitely looking at it, I think you could switch it around. That's good. And then two more there from Nathraj and from Hannah.
Okay, one here. Really appreciate the bottom-up leadership model, Jonathan. Customer centricity, starting with, am I in the wrong link or something like that? I'm wondering why I can't see the question.
First question from Hannah is, there's a rumor going around that you're writing a book.
Oh, okay. Yes, that rumor is true. Yeah, so that book should be coming out end of April, and Hannah, I've asked you to contribute, so I appreciate that. And yeah, that's focused on two things. First thing it's focused on is customer experience transformations. I've come up with a model, a frame, a process for that. You know, we've called it ICON, which doesn't stand for icon. It stands for initiate, co-create, operationalize, and then nourish. You can find a lot more on my website, which I'll leave on the last slide of this. And yeah, the other part of that is customer experience governance. You know, because what I've found that a lot of people, especially leaders in customer experience, a lot of them have moved from other positions, from marketing, from sales, from IT, or whichever. And what I wanted to do is give them uh, a a playbook so they can see what good really looks like for them. So, for instance, it tells you what are the different roles that you can have in your customer experience team. It tells you the main meetings that you should be having. It tells you how often to have the meetings. You know, it tells you which documents you should be producing. We call these outputs, and gives you a bit of information and insight on that. And also, it touches on the customer centric data strategy as well, because actually, when you start any of these projects, the first thing you've got to do is go and identify what you know about your customers, and the things that you don't know, you need to create a strategy to make sure going forward you find it out, you know. So that's what the book's about. And yeah, just really thanking a lot of people, because a lot of customer experience leaders have really came and contributed to that book already. So it's got like a lot of exciting case studies. I'm hoping that name will probably add something as well.
As required, my friend, as you required. So last question there you got from Nathraj, who's saying the key takeaways that CX strategy sits right on top of data rather than data driving CX strategy. I think that's what he's saying, yeah?
100%, 100%.
Okay, brilliant. So thank you, Daniel. Jon, really enjoyed that session. Thank you for that.
Naeem, thank you for that. I appreciate that. And thank you for all the other speakers as well. It's been fantastic.
Definitely. Right.
Okay, cheers.